Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh. And a few days ago, we got news that Elon Musk and Tesla drops Bitcoin from being received for purchasing Teslas. Now, there's been a lot of talk about this, and what asset is Elon Musk and Tesla gonna accept next for payments? And are they gonna hold another asset on their balance sheet? And what I want to talk about in this video is that this goes beyond just what asset Tesla is going to accept for payments or what asset they're going to hold in their balance sheets. Tesla is moving into the energy marketplace and also the Internet of Things. So that's where this is evolving in the crypto space. This goes further than just holding an asset on his balance sheet. That's the start. That's what he did with Bitcoin. But this comes down to integrating an actual energy marketplace where that electricity can be bought and sold, and you create a type of decentralized marketplace. That's where we're headed in the future in the Internet of Value. Now, there's been this project called Project Sofie. You probably haven't heard about it. It's not sponsored by Ripple. It doesn't involve any of the people from Ripple. It's an independent project, part of the EU Horizon2020, but it uses Interledger for all types of components, and I'm going to go through some of them. Everything from moving gaming assets to trading energy to marketplaces and smart lockers and smart contracts between ledgers and marketplaces and data and identity and credentials. So Interledger has already been integrated into, they've done almost 100 different pilots. And Interledger is a core part of the Sofie project ecosystem. Now, let's go through here a little, and let's start with Energy Web, because that's where, back in September 30th, 2020, the XRP Ledger Foundation, Ripple, and the Energy Web announced the world's first decarbonized blockchain. Rocky Mount Institute-backed Energy Web launches the EW0, provides technology for applicable to all blockchains. So the XRP Ledger is the first decarbonized blockchain. Now, Ripple and the XRP Ledger Foundation were pushing this narrative back in 2020. So it was only a matter of time before these proof-of-work blockchains were going to come under fire from this administration, from the climate agenda. There's just no getting around it. Now, the narrative just sped up so quick. So I hope everyone could see how narratives can change on a dime like that. So we all knew that proof of work had a problem with the climate, the energy, and Ripple was banging the drum with it, but all it took was an Elon Musk tweet and dropping it to like, wow, now it's a big deal. So this is going to be a major issue going forward. Now, I don't know if there's going to be some kind of carbon tax, but this is going to get all corporates, all institutions who are thinking about holding Bitcoin on their balance sheets to looking to other assets. But this goes beyond just holding assets on your balance sheets here. And we have to keep this in mind with this ecosystem and this crypto marketplace that's evolving. We have now DeFi evolving, which is a financial, decentralized infrastructure marketplace developing right on chain. So we're going to see other applications developed on-chain and on Interledger, where they're outside of the traditional payment rails, but they can interconnect. And that's what Flare and Interledger are all really trying to do, as well as PolySign and Standard Custody. It's connecting the capital markets, traditional markets, with these decentralized blockchains. But the applications that are built on them, that's where the real power is going to come from, not just holding these tokens. Like, I know everyone's focused on the price of tokens, and yes, we're here to make money, and I am not a financial advisor, and I am not a tax attorney. I just want to make those two things clear. But we're going into a future where the applications of Internet of Things, when you could stream payments like data, it opens up all new applications. So this is why I don't look at crypto as like, oh, there's just moon, and then we're done. No. This is going on for the next decade. You're either in this or you're going to get out of it. That's why exit plan strategy, I don't think exit plan strategy. I think take profits, but why would you be exiting? when a market is moving in this direction where we're barely even scratching the surface of where this is going. So great for the TA analysis and all their profit margins, and they're taking this and that, but fundamentals will always trump TA in the long run, because where this market is going, you can't see that on a TA chart. TA charts are great if you're trading, but I'm not here to trade. I'm here for long term. And what's being built, these technologies, we've only scratched the surface. Those price charts don't show anything near what's capable, because these are not stocks. You can't use market cap, and even the actual charts themselves are not going to make sense when we have demand from utility. And I'm not going to get into it, but with Spark and all those that have yield and different demands attached to them, they're not the same as just speculating up and down, and they're going to hit a trend line. So also in September, Ripple did their insights on this now, and how much more energy efficient they are than the proof of work blockchains. And now they've been hammering 61,000 times more energy efficient XRP is than Bitcoin. I mean, that's a dramatic difference. So when this case ends, you're going to be looking at all the proof of work blockchains, and that's still going to be Ethereum. That's not moving over anytime soon. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, they're all proof of work. And they're going to get hammered. And then you're going to have these corporations and other institutions. They're not going to build applications or just beyond just hold the assets on their books. Like, that's like baby steps, just touching their toes in the water. So we're not even close to where this is going to head in the years ahead. All right. And now the XRP Ledger Foundation is part of this, and decarbonizing the whole XRP ledger. So they are miles ahead of any other blockchain when it comes to this. They also put out this from Ripple Impact, which is ensuring that our digital future is a sustainable one. And this basically talks about the same type of thing, about how the crypto impact. So for example, here, an average single Bitcoin transaction consumes 700 kilowatts of electricity. And that's a massive carbon footprint when you consider that a single transaction utilizing fiat consumes a mere 0.044 kilowatts. Now, an XRP Ledger transaction is even less than the fiat. It only consumes a scant 0.0079 kilowatts of electricity per transaction. So let's just repeat that one more time. 700 kilowatts versus 0.0079. That is a dramatic difference here. Plus the miners have to buy all their hardware, which costs thousands and thousands of dollars, just to create this energy to solve a math problem. Now, people like Anthony Pompliano will say, oh, well, money comes from energy. Well, I think a lot of us could say that's bullcrap. So money is what people decide it is, not just from energy. All right, so let's move on here to the Sofie project. So here are some of the different components of the pilots that they did. Decentralized energy flexibility marketplace, decentralized data exchange, food supply chain, and mixed reality mobile gaming. And they all use applications of Interledger. Interledger is directly integrated to this whole project. It is a core functionality of it. And yes, it's the Interledger protocol. Utilizing multiple DLTs gives several advantages. And one thing that's ironic about this whole project, they use the Ethereum blockchain, and they use like private Hyperledger. And Ethereum, you think like Flare. Same thing, exactly the same thing. So how Interledger is going to work with Flare in many different ways. And it could be applied to this and storing it in a private ledger. So applications, you have atomic operations here. You have triggering transactions in a ledger-based activity on ledger Y. So that's the crypto condition, so crypto agility. In long term, it is necessary to be able to move data to a new, more secure ledger. Hash time lock contracts, transferring assets between ledgers. And then you have your decentralized identifiers. So this is going to be a key importance here. And a lot of people talk about this whole Orwellian control of everything. But the reality is the standards that are coming out are the exact opposite of what all those conspiracy theory nonsense keep telling you. Look at the facts. Here are the facts. Decentralized identifiers aim to provide self-sovereignty. This is a W3 standard. Verifiable credentials. Owner of an identifier can prove something, a date of birth, a degree, about themselves. They could select the disclosure. Disclose only part of the information present in the credentials. And now zero knowledge proofs is another way of doing this. And then moving down here, you have your decentralized identifiers with Oath 2, which is managing basically your logins and things like that. So there's many different ways and how this could be used. I just wanted to touch on this here. Now this video, before I go to the video that I want to show you all, as you can see, Interledger right in the middle of the Sofie components here. All right, with smart contracts, with authorization, public permission blockchains, public stamping, private permission DLTs. All right, so everyone sees that here. Using smart contracts to balance grids and integrate renewable energy. And then here, just so everyone knows, Sofie project, Interledger. Interledger component itself is detailed in depth here. And these are all the typical Interledger things. And Interledger works with smart contracts too. Interledger Node, Interledger Core, and right here, the Sofie EU Horizon2020 project Sofie. Right here is the Interledger component. Then there's the marketplace as well. And you can see here, Interledger component is a core part of the whole Sofie federated platform. All right, now let's move on to this video. Now this is where it ties in to Tesla and how you're going to start seeing that energy is going to eventually be traded and have its own marketplace in the future. So take a listen here.
The internet is more and more about connecting things with one another and people. David and Sarah live in the same city but don't know each other. David wants to charge his electric car using clean, renewable energy and pay as little as possible. Sarah has solar panels on the roof of her house that generate more electricity than she's consuming, and she wants to sell the leftover energy. Currently, it is impossible to connect Sarah the supplier with David the buyer. To make this happen, we started the Sofie Project, a marketplace that enables consumers to search for offers on clean electricity and monetize their spare electricity. A marketplace that is transparent, fair, not controlled by a single entity exclusively, and automatically handles all the transactions. To summarize, Sofie will build a trustworthy marketplace that enables data exchange between different parties by setting the framework for connecting networks of things and enabling automatic discovery of other things, transactions between them, as well as delivery. How do we do this? By connecting existing technologies and IoT platforms via Sofie-specified software adapters. These adapters enable automated transactions between diverse IoT platforms and devices in a secure, transparent, and highly available way. We use a variety of blockchain technologies for generating immutable audit trails, which enable quick and transparent resolution of all kinds of potential disputes. Smart contracts enabled by blockchain technologies automate the whole process. Sarah can set conditions for the sale, and David can set conditions for the purchase. To maximize Sarah's profit, she should contact as many potential buyers as possible. Sofie enables this by establishing a framework that is secure, transparent, and free for all the users. Additionally, we will run 2 more pilots in different areas to demonstrate the advantages of Sofie in the food supply chain and in mobile mixed reality gaming. Sofie will set an open and decentralized foundation for data and service exchanges and 4th-generation business platforms.
So that's the future where we're going to, where energy will have its own marketplace. And look at what Tesla is thinking. That's why this goes beyond just Tesla holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet, what Elon Musk is looking at. So I hope everyone sees that there's a further out plan here. And actually, with Chris Larsen said back in 2013, this is what they were talking about with autonomous agents and machine-to-machine payments. So sometimes old information is not relevant, but here it is super important. It's because the vision behind Codius is still what Ripple is building now. It's the internet of value. So listen to these two clips here. They're very powerful.
Comments on autonomous money transmitting systems in the cloud, in the ether.
Sure, yeah. No, we're really excited about Codius, and that's Stefan Thomas and Evan Schwartz, absolutely brilliant engineers who have been spearheading that, along with an increasing number of our staff. So a lot of it is obviously smart contracts. Smart contracts have traditionally been attached to distributed ledgers. I think originally it was thought that you have distributed ledger first, and then you'd have smart contracts built on top of it. We've started taking a different approach with Codius in making them two completely separate streams, so that with Codius you can both use any programming language and you can use any form of ledger. So whether it be a distributed ledger, decentralized ledger, whether it be PayPal, centralized ledger, Chase, whatever, we think those smart contracts should be able to tie anything of value from any counterparty or non-counterparty. So that's a kind of a fundamental foundation of it. But what that should do then is allow, to your point, the idea of autonomous agents. So a good example would be, today the only kind of autonomous agent that can exist is basically a virus, which is usually having to do bad things to support itself. Originally, the idea behind viruses was that you could have benevolent viruses, and we think with things like autonomous agents that can think of a program that can exist in the wild and kind of have a bank account. Again, an application cannot go to Chase and open a bank account, which means it can't support itself. It can't take in payments from customers. It can't hire developers to improve itself. And something like Codius would allow that to happen. So you might have a world where you have benevolent agents running around that could actually be antibodies for viruses. That would be one example, taking the place of antivirus companies. You could have an autonomous agent that would be like an Uber, where you wouldn't need Uber. You'd have a direct sort of connection between the customer and the driver. That driver actually could be eventually a self-driving car. What gets really interesting there is you could theoretically eliminate profit margins because autonomous agents don't need to make profit. So these things will have a lot of, obviously this is in the future a bit, but this is real now. You can do this all today, and you'll see a lot of new tools coming out. But that's the world where I think you could see 1 billion times 1 billion transactions a day, if you're really going into a world of an internet for value with smart agents. So we shouldn't be talking about technology that replaces existing payment numbers. We should be talking about a world like the Internet of Information, where you see just exponential increases in the amount of value being transmitted.
Now those smart agents that he talks about there, that uses the crypto conditions. This is how the escrow is released and distributed. After it leaves the XRP ledger, it goes to a multi-sig wallet. And then these smart agents, Codius is built, the vision of Codius and the smart contracts is built on top of Interledger. RippleNet is built on Interledger. RippleNet Cloud is a hosted solution. They're using Codius or some enhanced version of it using crypto conditions. They could do all the smart contracts type stuff already in RippleNet. They just don't talk about it. It's proprietary. It's all in the patents. But this is how the escrow is released. And sometimes when we see these transactions that come out of the escrow, or 100 million moved here, 100 million moved there, 500 million XRP moved here, it could be just different smart agents just moving it around based on different conditions. These exchanges, their name is just attached to the wallet. For example, Huobi could have 5 different XRP wallets. Coinbase has like 6. Binance could have 4. Now, one of each of those exchanges can be used just for ODL. Just because they don't name Huobi as an ODL partner does not mean that exchange's wallet is not used. It's able to mask the transactions. So I just wanted to throw that out there when we see all this exchanges moving around. Exchanges don't necessarily provide liquidity. They're used in ODL for their wallets as a custodial wallet. So it could be a market maker using it. It could be an ODL partner. It could be anybody. And it can be managed by these smart agents. And so we think with Polysend is going to be part of too. We'll have smart agents basically running the escrows. Now, when it comes to machine payments, you could think of Teslas when they're pulling up to an electric thing, and they could just pay for their electricity from the marketplace and just find the best marketplace through Internet of Things, like they showed in that Sofie. So listen to one more clip where Chris Larsen talks about autonomous agents. Now remember, this was 8 years ago. 8 years ago. They had the technology then. So what do you think they have now? So this is what they have built out for the last 8 years. They've been building out Interledger. They've been building out RippleNet. And now you have the PolySign platform. You have the XRP ledger. And you have crypto conditions, which is like the light smart contracts that go in basically the Interledger connectors that could be sent, and they could be smart programs. I'm going to eventually do a video on crypto conditions. It's definitely a very detailed, in-depth topic, and it's probably above most people's knowledge. And until they release more information on it, I might not do it yet. But I just want everyone to understand that. Pay attention to Tesla, but more so than just them holding Bitcoin in their balance sheet or accepting some asset for payment of a car. Cryptos are not being used to buy cars. Okay, it's a very, very small market. The future here is the applications that could be used and built on blockchains, and how they could create these new dynamic marketplaces. For example, energy trading, energy data, and other types of Internet of Things. That's where the future is. That's where the Internet of Value is. But the market gets so focused on, caught up in like a little tweet that Bitcoin's not going to, Tesla's not going to accept Bitcoin anymore. Of course they're not going to accept Bitcoin. It's proof of work. Tesla's a renewable energy. Maybe they'll be trading renewable energy credits. I saw somebody posted that on Twitter. That's a possibility too. Carbon credits. That's another one. You create new dynamic marketplaces here with new types of data. And now Interledger allows that. Well, you say, well, how does XRP fit in all this mix, right? So how does XRP fit in? Thing is, Ripple's positioning XRP to be the ideal asset used on Interledger and in these marketplaces. So we just haven't seen that develop yet, but it's being positioned there. One, it's the most decarbonized blockchain out of all the blockchains that exist. It's the most decarbonized. So when this lawsuit is over with the SEC and XRP gets clarity, it's going to be the de facto go-to asset and blockchain. Same with Flare, once we get clarity, because those corporates are not going to touch the proof of work. And this just changed the narrative so quick. It was just like, boom, 2 weeks, narrative changed. And the whole Bitcoin maxi's trying to say, oh, it's energy that gives it value. Bullcrap. That's not what it is. The more energy efficient blockchains are going to be used, but even blockchains themselves, they're just the bottom layer. No one blockchain is going to be used. No one asset is going to be used. And especially not the ERC20 assets. Those are just smart contracts built on top of Ethereum. They have their place, but they are nowhere near the actual underlying blockchain's native assets. Those should always hold more of a value. Like Spark, for example, is a native asset of Flare. It is superior in every way than every ERC20 that's ever been built on the Ethereum network, because it has its own functionalities, and it has unique functionalities that Ethereum doesn't have and no other asset has. It comes with yield attached to it. That's a detachable vote. We're going to do our next video tomorrow on why Spark is a super asset and why it has unique capabilities that other assets don't. and why you should rethink what you should do when you first get your airdrop of Spark and thinking about selling. Because if you do sell, that'd probably be the stupidest possible thing you could ever do. But I am not a financial advisor. Also, look forward to Patty's coming out with a video tonight on Gala Games and NFTs. So look forward to that coming out this evening. Also, check out our website at thedefistandard.com. We have a lot of great resources on there. And you can also join our Patreon. It's in the link below. We do Zoom calls every Wednesday and every Sunday, and we go into depth about strategizing on how to prepare for the Flare Network launch and how you can maximize your Spark to stack as much Spark as you can early on, because participating early on is going to be extremely beneficial. You could create massive generational wealth just by participating in that first month. Can literally change your life, because this is not hype. These are the facts. We have the numbers there. Patty has created a specific spreadsheet. If you join our Patreon, you get access to the spreadsheet to understand how much profit you could look to make based on your holdings. Now, this is not financial advice. None of this is. We are not financial advisors, but it gives you an idea of how you can prepare yourself for the Flare Network launch. I'm Mickey B. Fresh, and I'm out.